What is up, everybody? This is RybackStun. We have returned to Marvel Heroes Test Center. We are looking at the Cyclops 52 review, and we're going to take a look at all the different things that are possible with this review. That's the wrong button. Everybody already knows what his Hero Synergy is. It's one of the more useful ones in the game. It is energy damage and 10% bonus XP. People usually level up Cyclops first just to get that. In terms of powers, he's got a lot in optic beams, not so much in fighting experience, and a brand new tree called Team Tactics, whereas before it was just Tactics. He's got a whole bunch of new stuff that I'll showcase to you guys right when it happens. First thing I wanted to show, a passive, which is here somewhere. Martial Arts passive, he gets defense rating and damage to melee powers in his fighting expertise tree. I know there's another one in here somewhere. Here we go, by the numbers. So, he restores spirit per second when you're not using spirit spending powers. He gains dodge rating. He restores 6 spirit when you dodge an attack. Chance to apply damage over time is 25% with energy damage per second for 8 seconds. And you and your allies gain endurance, increasing natural spirit regeneration by 8 per second and reducing spirit cost and powers by 10%. So that's that. He's got 3 trees, optic beams, fighting expertise, and team tactics. Let's go ahead and check out some of these powers. I have optic beams on 2 bars because there's a lot of crap to do. First thing first, snapshot beams, energy damage. He has 50% extra damage against slowed enemies, and the crit damage rating for this power is increased. So your normal, just blast, 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 blast. First special power here is explosive blast. It's your vulnerability attack, which is fairly interesting since that used to be this lovely thing up here, the Master Tactician. Still there though, which is interesting. There's your explosion. It does do an area of effect, so I guess I don't even know why there's 2 vulnerability attacks here. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Next, we have the regular optic beam, which does energy damage. It plus 1% damage per 1% attack speed. It slows enemy movement speed, and its ongoing spirit cost is 7.8 per second. So it's your focused beam here, but you can also utilize extra damage since the enemy is slowed. Stack it up with a vulnerability attack, and you're doing a lot of extra damage. Next, we have the shotgun beam, which blasts somebody in a short arc in front of you. Your melee powers deal 10% extra damage for 8 seconds, and it weakens your enemies as well, so let's get a little bit closer, and boom! Very much like the Optic Devastation. It does have a cooldown. It looks like it's 6 seconds. Boom, there you go. And that is that. Everybody's favorite power, Ricochet Blast, is still here. This time it ricochets against 9 targets, which is kind of cool. Still a basic, which I'm quite surprised, but not really so much considering that they kept it on, what's her name, Sue Storm. So, there is that. Lots of damage coming out of that, and it does leave... Oh, that's the energy damage from the passive. So there's that. We also have Rapid Shot, which is, I guess, a single target blast, very, very much like Iron Man's Repulsor Blast. So you do have to have a target in order to use it first, and that is how that works. Then we have Tactical Disengage, which slows enemies and does that damage. So you hit this, you fire backwards, and then boom, you're hitting them with your basic attack because it does do a lot of damage. And then we have Optic Devastation, which is one big attack, boom. He just takes his glasses off and knocks people out left and right. We also have the Toggle, which is Concussive Force. It adds energy damage rating. It reduces your spirit, by 20%, and it increases your deflection chance. So you toggle this on, you blast people, continue with this, but you're low on, obviously, spirit because you're reducing it with the toggle. And next we have Visor Off. You hold down the hotkey to remove your Ruby Quartz Visor and unleash a full, untamed power of your optics. When you absolutely positively need to take out everyone in the room except no substitutes. Energy damage twice per second, damage negated by 50% while channeling, maximum channel time of 3 seconds, it's got a spirit cost of 15, and it has a cooldown of 5 seconds, has +1 damage for each rank in To Me, My X-Men. So let's check this out. Boom. And this is basically the old Ultimates, just shorter and not as much damage, which is pretty cool. Next we got the Fighting Expertise. First is the punch combo. Physical damage, it gives you defense rating for 8 seconds, and it weakens enemies. So there you go. Lots of damage left and right. You also have your combat roll, which gives you additional dodge rating for 5 seconds, so you can continue to dodge roll around and around and around and around while dealing damage to enemies. You also have tactical kicks, which is physical damage, vulnerability, has extra crit rating and extra damage rating for this ability, so if you really want to be Punchclops, you have the power and abilities to do so. He has a new travel power called My Ride, basically the bike that Wolverine stole. I guess he got it back, or, you know, temporarily has it back, so on and so forth. Next power is Sweeping Kicks, another vulnerability. I guess Cyclops uses a lot of vulnerable attacks. Does knock down and additional damage rating for 8 seconds, and it has a medium-sized attack speed. So there you go. And you can actually continue using it because it doesn't have a cooldown. And then you have Evasive Roll, so you dodge, you side dodge in different directions. Let's see. If I'm facing forward, I'm dodging to the right. There we go. Alright. So that is your fighting expertise. And last, we have Team Tactics here. First one is Master Tactician. You gain XP bonus per enemy defeat. And you also have Vulnerability and Weaken for each time. No cooldown on this, obviously. The new abilities that Cyclops has are Strike Team abilities, where he can summon a member of the X-Men to do an attack for him. So, Strike Team Angel. He pummets an enemy and with deadly flybys. It does 3 hits. Let's go ahead and show you how it works. They have a shared cooldown of 8 seconds, and Angel does continue to fly by for the majority of the duration of that, which is actually kind of cool. Next, we have Strike Team Beast, which is physical damage. It also does a bleed, and he has a knockdown, also shares a cooldown. It is a direct path attack, so Beast rolls and does his attack and deals a bunch of damage in that aspect. There's the bleed there for you. That'll be able to do those extra damages. Strike Team Iceman, he does energy damage twice per second for 2 seconds. He also slows enemies for 5 seconds and has a full area duration for 8 seconds, which is the entire duration of the cooldown. So there's that. He comes in and does the energy damage, but also continues to slow them afterwards. This is just the energy dot from my passive. And we have the last call-in, which is Strike Team Jean. She does energy damage twice per second, and knocks them down. It is a gigantic ability. Not gigantic, but it does do... Oh, nice. She drops a car for Cyclops to shoot everybody's on fire, and that's all that. Next, we have Finest Hour. Gives you crit rating, and you and your allies gain dexterity, which passively... The active effect is your CC break, which is pretty useful. This actually might be another one of those, especially considering it also gives you crit. One of the ones you'll definitely want to take. They're getting a lot better at making CC breaks worth taking, which I love. And then we have Veteran Command, where everybody's damage rating gets pumped up. The buff duration is 10 seconds. It also revives up to 1 nearby defeated ally. Question is, can it revive more than 1? No, it can only revive 1. So, there's that, and it has a 1-minute cooldown. So, boom, now all of my damage is increased. Yay, yay, yay. So those are Cyclops' regular powers. Cyclops, however, also has an updated ultimate. So let's check that out. To me, my X-Men. And it has, there we go. Despite the deepest chasms of adversity, the pain of battle, and threat of extinction, there comes a time when man must rise against tyranny and evil within the most determined use of overwhelming violence and force. That time... This is that time, and you are that man, Scott Summers. That's very interesting. So he'll summon all of his abilities, all of the Strike Team abilities. I believe they do the same things. They just do stuff in an area around you. Except Jean now does mental damage, which is interesting because it's Iceman does physical now as well, and then Beast and Angel will also stay physical. So it's got a cooldown of 10 minutes total. I have 2 ranks into it. So let's see what happens. They get in, and they do a ton of damage. And then they show up and continue to do their attacks. Where's Iceman? They're hiding the model. They don't want people to see that the model is there. Oh, so they're like Iron Man's ultimate, where they continue to just do attacks while you're there. And there's Iceman, continuing to move in and do attacks. That's pretty cool. And there's another little shot for him. Maybe I have to actually do attacks for Iceman to pop up. But there you go. That's Cyclops' 52 review. I imagine a lot of people are going to stick with the tried and true Ricochet Blast as well as some other stuff. But because of these new Strike Team abilities, something like Iceman or Jean might actually give a lot of extra damage and make it a bit more viable in raids than Cyclops had been previously. Because when you're fighting one gigantic boss, where are you ricocheting your blasts to? So, hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did showcasing it to you. That's your 52 preview. Remember to like and comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Tumblr, @RybackStun. More videos as they come along. And with that, this is RybackStun, signing out.